What up, everybody? It's your boy B Magic.
What up? This is Noyz. We are moving cool. You tune into Word is Born, South Asian hip hop on YouTube.
Tune in.
Leaving music is for the children.
Yeah.
It's the 788 DTM, just like Jake the Snake. Actually,
I don't think they understand it. They don't really know what hip hop is. They don't listen to hip hop. They don't listen to my songs mostly because, they don't listen to my songs. But sometimes if my dad walks in while making a beat, I'll show him my beat, and he'll like it. But beyond that, like, there's no. Like, they really don't have that interest to want to get involved in it. They just think like, okay, have your fun, do your thing, but don't let it distract you from doing your school or doing whatever else. Yeah. So I guess like they understand that it's something I do and it's something that I will continue to be doing, but they just don't want it to get in the way of things. And I think that would be the case for a lot of like Indian or like South Asian people. And
How do you tell them that this is something you want to do seriously as your future? I mean, do you consider it a hobby still, or is it something that it's a career for you almost now?
It's still a hobby. Like, I'm still doing it for fun. Like I'm not making any money off anything. I'm just doing it because I love doing it. Obviously now there's more exposure now than there was before, but like nothing has drastically changed. We're at the point where I gotta leave school behind to do this.
My parents, they've always know that I've recorded, I guess, like, cause I've been into everything as a kid. You go through those phases, right? Like, used to skateboard, used to do all this stuff, and it's just like, when I started actually recording, I recorded in the basement of this house, and it was just with my buddy, and it was just for fun, and like my mom would see it, and she's just like, okay, it's just innocent fun, right? Like, okay, and like, when it actually got to the point now where she's noticing that people are listening to it and like we're making videos and stuff like that, like she fully supports the fact of self-expression. Because my mom in Punjab, she was a speech writer for competition. Like she used to do speech competitions, right? So she was always out there competing, stuff like that, and just putting herself out there. So she likes the fact that I'm going on stage and stuff like that, and people are seeing my talents, right? And it's never been like, don't do this, but it's also like, you gotta be realistic about your life, right? Like you can't just think, okay, I'm gonna be a rapper and that's it, right? Like you gotta understand that in life you gotta have plans and goals and stuff like that. Like it's still a hobby to us. We haven't made a dime off this, right? And it's still for fun. Like we would be doing this even if you guys weren't paying attention or anything. Like we'd still be, Shadow Gallery would still be out, Dream would still be coming out. Like it doesn't matter if it's one person that hears it or 5 million that hears it, right? So I don't know, the first time my parents ever saw me perform was at When Lines Were Tour, right? And I brought my oldest brother, my mom, and my dad. And when my dad seen it, he goes, you can't be my son because I could have never gone out there and done that, right? So it's like, just hearing that from my dad, it makes you happy, right? Because obviously you want your parents to support and like what you're doing, right?
Same bullshit routine every morning, trying to live the dream even if my life is boring. Took my ass to college to get some of that knowledge, so how come that didn't solve any of my problems? Ain't no.
I think because a lot of parents when they came here, they were forced into labor jobs. It was just work, get your money, try to get yourself settled. There wasn't time for any of that fun stuff or stuff that just things you were interested in. It was just focus on what you need and what's essential to settle yourself and to survive. And because I know my mom was a painter back in India, so when she came here, she couldn't do that. She had to raise a family. She had to work. She had to cook. She had to do all that type of stuff. So I think because we're still like the first generation, like the kids of that generation, like the parents are still putting that view system on us. So like, yo, work.
No, yeah, that's the thing. Like, you always hear the like an Indian parent wants their son or daughter to be a doctor or a physician or whatever, right? And like that's like the thing that you hear with every family, right? Because that's what obviously your parents want us to be able to have respectable jobs and stuff like that. I don't think that the Indian community has seen that you can find jobs in the arts and stuff like that. Like it could pay out, right?
Yeah.
I think why they haven't accepted it is because they'd rather have job security and make sure that you're making money, because arts doesn't really have that security of you might not what your paycheck is this week might not be there next week, right? So it's just, I think Indian people, the whole survival thing has become an issue, because the generation before us, they didn't have the option, they didn't have the time to do this. It was all work, send money home, take care of your family. So they had to do, like, even my dad says, like, I didn't have time for fun. Like, I didn't have time to go out because I was working. I had to. If I didn't work, then I would be dead right now. Right? It's like that fight. Like, we'd be doing this if we wouldn't be rapping if we were on the street trying to figure out our lives, right? Like,
yeah, I think there haven't been enough generations here long enough for them to see that it is possible to be, to do something with the arts. Because basically, like, with me, it's just my dad was the first one from his whole family to come here.
Yeah.
So he hasn't seen anything else.
Yeah.
So I think there's still like that reluctance for parents to let their kids get into it.
And it's also the fact that if you look at the music industry, as in not even just music, as in arts and stuff like that, you don't have many. Like, say if I was a painter, I can't look to mainstream of painting and be like, oh, there's a Punjabi or Indian painter to look up to. And like same thing, like in hockey, like you won't see an Indian player in the NHL. So it's like, if a parent sees like there's no Indian player in the NHL, what's the point of putting my kid in hockey then? Or what's the point of pushing him to get to that level, right? And it's the same thing for all types of things. Like, we don't really have no Punjabi rapper to like look up to, like past that did it mainstream. Like, there's Jay Sean, he's doing his thing, and all the best for him, right? Like, that finally we can see that a person that came from the same upbringing as us can make it in mainstream music. Then why can't we, right? It's if I think the more people can see that our community has become successful in certain things, that then they will become more open to letting their kids do it. Like, even like I have a pretty big family, so like when my massis and masters, they come up to me and they're just like, oh, we saw your music and stuff like that. They showed my little cousins and stuff like that. For them to be able to see that their older cousin is making music and stuff like that, like, I hope that one day maybe they decide to do it too, right? And that's where I think, like, if we can be an influence to anybody that's growing up and wants to do what we do, then power to it, right? Like, I hope so. I hope that we have that influence to do that, right?
Well, one thing I just wanted to say about the past question was
just the fact that as Indian people or South Asian people, it is a lot harder for us to make it. Like, we could think everything's all gravy and everybody has an equal chance, but at the end of the day, it is harder for us to make it in everything we do, right? Just because being here in the in Western civilization and stuff like that, it's just. It is harder for us to make it, but at the end of the day, our people have come so far, you know? Nothing is impossible, and I think that's what drives us to do what we do. Like, if people could fight against the powers of evil and stuff like that, and overcome it, then why can't we overcome this barrier of being Punjabi rappers, right? Getting accepted by everybody as a whole, not just our own community, right? So thanks for having us. You know, the fact that people are like reaching out to us now, that like verifies all our hard work, you know? Like, like, you guys are allowing more people to focus on us. All I gotta say is look out for Dream. Get the Shadow Gallery if you haven't gotten it yet, because it's a masterpiece.
Yeah, Noyz and MC Foob album. I'm doing all the beats on that. MC Foob is a rapper from Toronto.
Shout outs to everybody who's supported us. Our dudes in Cali, Mandeep Sethi, Houdini, Gucci Bagi. Shout outs to pretty much anybody that's doing it just like we're doing it. So yeah, just shout out to the whole movement. You know, it's like, we're not just looking after ourselves, we're looking after the whole thing. So support everybody, that's all we ask.